is Damon Fordham, adjunct professor of history at the Citadel Military College here in Charleston, South Carolina. There's a lot of controversy right now over Doris Miller, who was an African-American sailor in 1941, who he was a messman aboard a ship called the West Virginia out at Pearl Harbor. Now, a little bit about his background. He was born in Waco, Texas in 1919, the son of Connery and Henrietta Miller. And the midwife who delivered him thought he was going to be a girl, so they named him Doris. And over the years after his death, people have referred to him as Dory, but his grandniece corrected an interviewer on CBS News saying that his actual name was Doris, so I'll respect that. Anyway, after leaving school, he went into the Navy in 1940, and there was not a whole lot available to black men in the Navy in those days. So he basically was a cook and did some cleaning on the ship. Now, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, the day which will live in infamy, he ran to the machine guns on the ship and gunned down a couple of Japanese planes and saved several members of the crew. And in 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt honored him with the Naval Cross, and Admiral Chester Nimitz placed it on Doris Miller's chest. And Doris Miller became a hero to African Americans in particular. I learned about him when I was a boy, and my father was a World War II veteran, so he told me stories about Doris Miller, and I read about him later in a book called Eyewitness: The Negro in American History by William Loren Katz. But a lot of people don't have exposure to that type of information these days. Anyway, after Doris Miller was killed, the black press in particular hyped up the story. And so soon pretty much of white America knew about Doris Miller's heroism. Now, in 1943, unfortunately, after he came back and did a little tour of the United States and went to Waco and spoke to people there, he was killed in action when he went off furlough and over one of the ships where he was stationed during one of the attacks of World War II. And on December 9th, 1945, the radio interviewer Orson Welles spoke with his father, Mr. Connery Miller. And Mr. Welles tried to paint a bright side picture of all of this. You can see the video on YouTube where he's saying that, don't you think that Doris's death would help improve race relations and, as he put it, improve things for the Negro? And keep in mind, Mr. Connery Miller was a sharecropper in Waco, Texas in the segregation era of 1945. And he told Orson Welles, no, I may be wrong, it may be so, but I don't see, quote, no changes yet. And so he added that I think a man should be a man regardless of his color. And when Orson Welles said that, don't you think that Doris's sacrifice would be worth it if it made things better for black people? And the elder Mr. Miller said, we had Doris up all his life. We raised him up to be a man. But if I had my druthers, I'd rather have Doris right here. So that goes to show that not only was Doris Miller a great man, but his father also had tremendous courage. And you can see the video where this happened elsewhere on YouTube. But anyway, that's a little background story of who Doris Miller was, as well as the little-known story of his father's heroism also. And I hope that one of the things that you get from this is courage to face what you may be facing in these times. This is Damon Fordham.